My audio that's making a very warm welcome to all our viewers. Welcome to Sentinels Newsmakers. So, my guest today is actor director Kenny Basumatary. Kenny, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to Sentinels Newsmakers.
Thank you, Oineetom, for having me over.
Pleasure. So, just a few days to go, barely a week to go for the release of Yaara. How does it
Mhm.
feel? Butterflies, a lot of excitement.
Yeah, I guess as the date is coming closer, the excitement is increasing. But of course, I can't help but feel that if it were in theaters, it would have been a very vastly different look. I
Experience.
mean,
Yeah.
a different sense of anticipation because watching a film in theaters is an entirely different experience altogether. And plus, Yara is the kind of film that should have been seen on a big screen because we've shot in so many wonderful places. The framing, um, the cinematography, the production design, everything is fantastic, and it would have been really worthy of watching on a big screen.
Right. Yes. Yes. I'm sure we as viewers are going to miss out on that bit. We are going to miss out
Yeah.
on a lot of stuff there. But glad that it's at least releasing, right?
Yes,
At least
definitely.
we will get to see your wonderful work, I'm sure. So tell us, how did Yara happen? How was your experience like, sharing screen space with Biddu Jamwal, Shruti Hassan, all of these guys? How was it?
Well, I got a call from Mukesh Chabra's office. Mukesh Chabra is the casting director. So they asked me to come over and audition for a role in a film. I did the audition, and then a couple of days later, they called me again to audition once again, this time along with Vijay Verma.
Okay.
The second audition was along with him. They wanted to see our chemistry together, I guess. And it was quite an intimidating experience for me because I had read about Vijay. He wasn't he hadn't done his breakout roles by then, but people in the industry knew him as a very good performer, and he had already done one film in a lead role. So the audition was with him, and during the audition, I could feel what a great actor he is, and feeling asking myself, am I doing good enough in this? And after the audition was over, I thought that didn't go so well for me at least. But
Okay.
what I feel inside and what the camera captures sometimes are different
Yes.
things.
Yes. Yes. You
But I guess,
obviously would know that better. Yeah. Yes.
but a couple of days later, I got a call and they said that the director wanted to meet me. I thought, okay, good. Maybe they want to do one more test with the director himself. But when I went to Tigmanshu Dhulia's office, I saw that they had already um, lined up the racks of costumes and all, and they were going to take my measurements, which means that I've
Okay.
been selected.
You're
So
already in. Yeah.
yeah, that's how you get to know when they call you to take your measurements for your costumes. So
Okay.
that's
Perfect.
how I got in.
So, and then how was it, working with Tigmanshu Dhulia?
There are many great things about him as a director and as an actor, since he's such a great actor himself. He's a graduate of the National School
Yeah.
of Drama, and Sanjay Mishra is, I believe, was his roommate or batchmate, one of these. So as a director, since he's a very good actor, he can tell you exactly what he expects from you, exactly what he wants, how he wants the line to be delivered. And since he's worked for so long, he's very fast in the work
Right.
that he does, and he knows exactly what he wants. If he feels that something has been achieved in the very first take itself, he will take one look at it and then he'll say, okay, take care, moving on. So there'll be no need to take again just for the sake of it. If he
Right.
feels happy, then okay, fine, we move on immediately to the next one. And I also used the opportunity to observe him as much as I could and learn as much as I could about how he uh, directs, how he moves characters in a frame, how other elements are moved. Because it's not just about what actors do. Sometimes it could be about things like two people passing in the background and then a
Yeah.
vehicle passing by, and then it has to all be at the correct timing so that the frame is filled in the correct manner. And then, so all these things, the way that camera movements and movements of characters within the frame, all these things, lots that I learned from watching and observing what he did.
Right, yeah. And I mean, you yourself have been directing movies, so this must have been a really sort of little bit different experience altogether.
Definitely. The main thing is it's a question of scale. We generally, in my films, we have worked on smaller scales. We've worked with two, three characters at a time. Even if a fight is happening, it's one guy versus one or two, three, four, five, six guys at most. So
Yeah.
that's the scale that we are accustomed to working on. And if we need to do crowded things, we go to a crowded place and then we shoot our people, and then whatever happens with the rest of the crowd, that is up to the gods, whether it goes right or wrong.
Yeah.
But when you work on a bigger production, you have like even on Rag Desh, for example, there were about there could be 100 junior artists also playing soldiers. There could be members of the audience. So handling everything, controlling everything, whether things were going on correctly. So
Yes.
if there's a scene where there's 20 soldiers and all of them are hungry and looking miserable, if there is one guy somewhere in the background who's smiling and enjoying himself, that won't look good on screen. So all these
Right.
things have to be taken care of on projects of a bigger scale.
Right, right. And you're also known to be working on shoestring budgets, like, and then you did crowdfunding also, and then there are all these Bollywood productions, which there it runs into multiples of crores. So a
Yeah,
totally different set of stuff altogether.
definitely. Um, I have well, we've worked on lower budgets because that's our majburi. We don't have lots of crores lying around.
Right.
And taking other people's money also brings with it some other limitations and restrictions and having to be answerable to them. So that's another set of headache. So, uh, but then, of course, if you have the budget, you can do lot of things
Not
within
right.
within the confines of that budget.
Yes.
If we want to make a kick-ass action film here in Assam, for example, we definitely have the talent to do it. We have
Right.
many great actors in our own team. Then we have some other people that we haven't worked with, like the
Yeah.
Boro hero Sarang Nazari, whom we almost ended up working with. And then there's a group of YouTubers also. The the unbeatable Tamulpur Warriors. I forgot what the exact channel
Okay.
was. So there are definitely groups of people whom we could all get together if we have a big enough budget to get everybody
Right.
together and work
Right,
with.
right, right, right. But yeah, with the current situation, and anyways, Assamese film industry was struggling, and just when it felt like we were beginning to
Hmm.
do a little better,
Yeah.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What's going to happen to the entire film industry here? The whole film fraternity. How do you look at it? The Assam film space.
Whatever happens in the rest of the world is going to happen here also. So it's going to be no different. I always feel like whatever happens in the rest of the world happens in India about two,
Yeah.
3 months later or 2, 3 years
Later.
later. And then whatever happens
Yeah.
in India happens in Assam about 2, 3 months later. So
Right.
just like the rest of
Yes.
India was hitting its peak about 2 months or so ago, now we are entering that same phase.
Yes.
So Christopher Nolan's Tenet was supposed to release on August 12th, but they pushed it again. So there's that. And I'm looking to see what happens in the countries where COVID has already passed its peak and is on the way down. So we over here in Assam, I guess we're just entering the upward part of the curve. So we need to wait and watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
In the meantime, PVR and Inox, they've come out with some statements on the kind of precautionary measures that they're taking in their
Yes.
theaters for
Yes.
when they reopen. That includes having one empty seat beside each
Right.
person. Not each
Right.
person. If you're a family or a group of friends who bought your tickets together, you can sit together, but then one seat will have to be empty. And
Yeah.
then there are various measures of sanitizing the hall after every
Yes.
show, etc., etc. So all that will be put in place, and I guess um, all that will happen when things reopen. So it will go
Mm,
back to some
mm,
kind of
mm.
normal. It'll take time, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And you feel that the whole Assamese film industry will take a little bit longer to get back on its feet again?
It'll be the same as everywhere else. I don't think
Okay.
will be any
We will be any
particularly
different.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right, right. So now let us talk a little bit about your own production. What is the status there? Local Utpat, what's happening?
So we finished shooting local Utpat, thankfully. We finished it before the virus started spreading, and
Yeah.
editing is complete. Dubbing is about 50-60% complete. We finished the dubbing of everyone who lives in Guwahati. So
Right.
the other cast members, some are in Dibrugarh, some Jorhat, some
Mm-hmm.
Majuli. So we're
Mm-hmm.
waiting for them to be able to travel back and finish the dubbing. Then, but I'm also supposed to be working on a web series now
Right.
for
Okay.
an
Yeah.
upcoming platform called realdrama.com. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be a romantic comedy web series, and we've finalized the cast and script. We thought we would have started shooting by now, but obviously cases started rising, so we need to
Yeah.
wait a little while more. And so Real Drama is a new platform where Inspector Boro and Local Kung Fu 1 and 2
Mm.
will also be available when they launch.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
Yeah.
what's happening next.
Wow, yes, they're nice. So, and you must have also noticed that there are a lot of Assamese actors who are now making it big in Bollywood.
Mhm.
Right? So this thing, of course, feels good. And how do you see things panning out for the Assamese people from Assam, from Northeast, entering the Bollywood space in future as well?
Uh, the good thing is that nowadays there are a lot of filmmakers over there are aware that there is a Northeast, and it would be nice to include people. Some are
Mhm.
There have been people who have always done that from before, but nowadays it's a little bit more in the mainstream consciousness that, like for example, if you would have a mobile phone advertisement
Yeah.
about 15, 20 years ago, any kinds of ads actually from about 20 years ago, they wouldn't bother about having anybody from the Northeast. But now they want to cover the Northeastern market also. So when they make ads, they generally look for characters like, say, one, they might take a Sardar to represent the
Mm.
north, and then they'll take somebody in Maharashtra, somebody in South India,
Yeah.
maybe a Bengali, and a northeastern person. So nowadays they try to mix it up a little bit and have a little more variety. And there are some filmmakers like Shujit Sarkar and Dibakar Banerjee. People like them have always tried to be inclusive, and that's something that
Yeah.
Janu Bora sir also has always been doing,
Right.
including people
Yes.
all over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, will we see more of you here in Assam and Northeast, or you will be busy with Bollywood projects as well?
Well, I have to complete. I have three things to complete here in Assam. First is the web series, and
Yeah.
then we are doing our local kung fu team is doing the action choreography for Barud 2, which is going to be
Okay.
another multi-starrer epic from the Assam
Right.
industry. Jotin Borada is there, Robi Sarmada, then Gunjan Bhardwaj, Munmi Phukon. So it's a big star cast, and the film is going to be made on a grand scale, and we are doing the fight choreography for that. So I
Okay.
guess that's something we're going to be a part of. And uh, then I have to finish the shooting of Sorgorot. I'm acting in it.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
film by Rajesh Bhuya from a brilliant script by Santanu Romuria. So that's the third thing that I need to complete. And then
Yeah.
depending on whether Yaara leads to more work in Bombay, that we'll have to figure out.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it will. This is just the beginning. I'm sure that a lot of projects awaits you there.
Fingers crossed.
Now, all the best for that. No doubts, in fact.
Thank you.
So, what have you been doing during the lockdown? How has lockdown been treating you?
Well, mostly in the first lockdown, I was mostly editing and then doing some dubbing and sound work for the film. And there's been a variety of things to do, a little bit of writing. I'm also editing a friend's pilot episode, and then there's a little bit of other people's dubbing happening. So there's a variety of work to do. I also tried doing some songs, and I exercise regularly, and I
Okay.
usually end up cooking maybe once a day.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
mother does some of the cooking, I do some of the cooking. So
okay.
that's what I've been doing.
So what are the dishes you have been making? And your mom's loving your food?
I've been cooking for a long time, so
Okay.
yeah, pretty decent at it.
Oh, nice. That's fun. So, between acting and directing, what do you enjoy the most?
I, well, in my current frame of mind, I sometimes think that it might be nice to just be an actor for a year, because being an actor, you don't have much responsibility. You just, especially in Bombay, actors
Yeah.
are spoiled rotten. There's a vanity van with an AC. You can just
Right.
go and lie down and read something and go to sleep or whatever for two, three
Yes.
hours, and then the lighting and all will be done. They'll call you, you act
Yeah.
for about 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever, come back again, go to sleep, and then have lunch.
Yeah.
So actors are spoiled, nothing to do. Unless you are doing an action scene or a dance or something, in which case it's the opposite. You are the one working the hardest. But otherwise, actors have it very easy. So sometimes I feel like it would be nice if I could just have some acting gigs that would help me just relax and do nothing, no
Yeah.
responsibilities, only
Right.
responsibility being to learn my lines and not to drop any dal on my costume. So that's
Uh-huh.
the limit of
Yes.
responsibilities as an actor.
Right.
But then as a director, I always have this curiosity also of wanting to do new films. I want to do another kick-ass action film soon. I want to do a horror film also soon. Then the rom-com
Okay.
web series is also there.
Yes.
So
So,
let's
yeah.
both the
So
pulls
the
keep on happening.
uh-huh. So the horror film in Assamese.
Yeah,
Wow, that'll be interesting. Yes, I'm sure many people will be looking forward to that one. So there are compliments coming in for you. Kamal has written in, complimenting you on your local kung fu, saying beautiful movie. So
thank you,
in
Kamal.
fact, a lot of people actually still talk about your local kung fu. So, of course, now COVID is there. Also, the flood situation across Assam, in fact, across Northeast. So, other states also, it's not going through very happy times. Every year we face all of these things. What are your thoughts?
I I really don't know the answer yet. I've only started just recently asking a couple of friends, aren't there any permanent measures that we can take
Yeah.
to completely, I mean, at least
Yes.
mitigate this
Fine.
problem so that it doesn't reach such a magnitude each and every
Yes.
year. Stuff that
Yes.
I've been reading says that the floods have been, it used to be like one big flood every 10 years, but now I think, yeah, I read this in a piece by Tora Agarwala, yeah, that floods used to be once, big floods once every 10 years used to be, but nowadays
Yeah.
it's like almost every year big floods are happening. So we need to
Right.
look at some long-term ways of doing this. And maybe we could study what other countries have done. The Netherlands, I don't remember the details now, but they've done some pretty nifty things with their rivers and all. So we need to look at
Right.
some long-term solutions.
Right.
It
Yes.
it has to be the kind of thing that I mean, rather than the short-term relief
Sure.
measures and
Yeah.
all, we need
Yes.
to do something that will last forever. Because I mean, if we don't if we don't even have a place to live for children and grandchildren, then what's the point of doing anything, making a shitload of money, whatever it is? So we
Right.
need to start looking at long-term solutions now.
Yes. In fact, this time round, Chief Minister Sonowal did assure that they are going to find out a permanent solution to this. In fact, the Prime Minister has also set up a Niti Aayog high-level committee to look into the whole flood situation. And yeah, you're right. It's time we really look at some permanent solutions to the whole problem. And in fact, what was heartening to see one more time, this time again, is that many of the Bollywood celebrities, the cricketers, coming out with their messages of solidarity. Some of the YouTube sensations, they donating money and all of those stuff. Like our own Dimpu Barua, he donated some amount. There's Ashish Chanchlani, who donated, he contributed for the Assam flood victims. So a lot of help pouring in from several quarters feels really great. But of course, the miseries continue. Now, going back to Yaara, what was your favorite moment while making the movie, while acting there?
Well, actually, these are the kind of things that you'll understand only after watching the film. But
Okay.
I remember one particular line. The line is Dilli Wali Didi. So there was a certain way that I was preparing that whole scene, rehearsing for it. But when we actually had
Okay, the signal. I think there's a signal problem. Kenny, sorry, you'll have to repeat that bit. The signal really,
uh,
freezing there.
so
Yeah.
so we had about 10 minutes left. The light was going, and then Sigmanshu sir was saying, "Jali jali, everybody, apni apni jagah pe jao." And then I came and he called action, and we did it. I did it the way that I was rehearsing, but he said, "Nahi, nahi, aisa nahi, aisa karo."
Mm,
So
mm,
we did it once again, and then the second time I did it his way,
mm.
Dilli Wali Didi. So it turned out much funnier than what I was thinking. That's what the assistant directors told me later, and
Yeah.
I guess you'll understand it when you see it.
Of course, of course. Looking forward to it. And many people actually are writing in. You must have seen all those comments all across social media. Everybody, waiting for the movie to release. So a lot of good memories out of Yara. So would you want to give us a peek into some of the other interesting moments or what the movie is all about, how it all panned out?
So it's a gangster epic. Four young boys, they meet as children, and from that, as children itself, they start getting involved in chota mota illegal activities, and then as they become young men, they graduate to more gangstery things like robbing banks and all, as you can see in the trailer. And then crisis happens in their lives, and things come to quite a bit of a difficult situation for them, and how they go through that, how it tests their friendship. So this is, I guess, broadly what I could say the movie is about.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Sentinels
Thank you very much for
Newsmakers.
letting me.
Thank you. And all the best for all your future projects. Looking forward to Yara and all your productions as well. Thank you once
Yeah,
again.
let me just remind people that it's on
Yes.
Z5 and it'll be available on the 30th of July onwards. So thank
Yes.
you, Oineetom, for having me over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, viewers, for joining this afternoon. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.